Okay, don't judge me for what I'm about to say, but I love listening to stories where like people get brujeria done. It's not funny, oh my god. Where people have like experienced brujeria, like someone has done brujeria to them, but I'm always like, what is the other person's side? I'm so nosy that I want both sides of this story. If I could talk to ghosts, I would go and be like, now why are you haunting her? Because this is what she said. If I can go talk to the duendes in my mom's house, I would, and I'd be like, did you take the melons and do you still have some? And in case you wanted to see my earrings, don't pay attention to that castle. I own that one too, but they're owls, lechuzas. You know, I'm on theme for this story. So today's video is actually coming from the bruja, the witch herself. So this lady's name is Esther, and she explains that she's not the kind of person who knows how to submit stories into podcasts or anything like that. So her daughter's actually the one helping her write all this down because she really wants to share her story. She was born with a gift, and she's not going to deny the fact that she turned into a really, really bad witch. She explains that she was the kind of witch that didn't care if she was going to end somebody's life or like torture a family. As long as she was able to do her job, she was going to do it. However, even through all of that, she wants to confess that it all ended when she fell in love and she had her daughter. Because she had made so much money doing brujeria, she had saved so much money to the point where she didn't have to work again, so it was easy for her to leave that life behind and focus on her daughter and her husband. She made sure that her daughter got a really good education. She taught her how to do good in life, and of course with time her daughter grew up, and one day her daughter decided that she wanted to talk to her dad by herself. The daughter ended up telling her dad that she had fallen in love with somebody at her university and that they really wanted to get married. She told her dad that the guy's parents were very supportive of their relationship and that she was gonna go and move in with them. Obviously they were concerned, they've never even heard of this guy, and she explained to them that she had known the family and the guy for over a year, so she would be comfortable going and living with them as she already knew them. The mom explained that her and her husband talked about it and that they didn't want to hold her back from whatever she wanted to do. However, they did want to make sure and tell her that they were going to be there for her no matter what. They told her that they would be visiting her every week just to make sure everything's okay, and the daughter agreed. They also wanted to come up with a phrase or like a code just in case she was in trouble and she couldn't directly tell them in front of the people. They decided that the phrase that the daughter would say in case she was in trouble was, "Hey, can you tell grandma I said hello?" The daughter agreed, and she actually thought it was like a silly thing, so she was having fun with it. They did end up getting married, and she said that they had visit her every week like they said, and it was always fine. She looked so happy with the guy. Because of this, they kind of calmed down and they decided that they were going to visit her at least once a month instead of every week. So one day she ends up telling her parents that she's going to leave the university because she wanted to help the family with their bills and she wanted to focus on having kids with her husband. She asked them not to worry, that everything was going to be okay, and she also asked them to stop coming over every month. She told them that she is a woman and she just felt like a little girl since they were visiting so frequently. Once a month? That is not too frequently for me. I need to see my mom at least every weekend. To each their own, I guess. So at this point, months have passed and the parents did try to visit her, but every time they would knock on that door, the guy's parents would come down and be like, she's not here, she's out on vacation, or she's not here, she's out with her friends. They were not able to physically see their daughter. One of the last times they tried to go visit her, they noticed something that they hadn't seen before, and that was that on the second floor of that house, the window in one of the bedrooms had like wood planks boarded up, like trying to keep something contained. She says that the second she saw that window boarded up, like something in her bones told her that something isn't right, my daughter's not okay. And when the guy's mom came out, she straight up said, hey, you need to tell me where my daughter is, like what's going on, what's wrong, is she up there? The mom of the guy said no, she's not here, and literally closed the door on their faces. They started screaming through the door, telling them that they were gonna call the cops if they didn't open that door again. That did make that lady open the door, and she told the mom, hey, your daughter is here, but she doesn't want to see you. She closed that door again, and the mom said that she started screaming at the house for like over an hour until that door finally opened and her daughter was there. Said her daughter looked really skinny, like she hadn't eaten in a long time, and that she had the worst bags under her eyes. Something was definitely wrong. The mom asked her how her baby is doing, because at that point they did get pregnant, they had a baby, and she told her mom that the baby was doing okay. And the mom then asked if she can come out and they can take a walk for a little bit. That is when the mother-in-law interrupted and said she's not going anywhere, she's a mom now and she needs to take care of her baby. I don't know, moms couldn't take walks, bitch. By the way, they were talking with like between the rails, like she couldn't even hold her daughter. After hearing that, the daughter just looked at her mom and said, look, I love you, don't come back here anymore, I need to take care of my daughter. She said that she managed to give her daughter a kiss through the little rails, and that is when the daughter gave them the secret code. "Hey mom, can you tell grandma I said hello?" The rage I would have felt after hearing the secret code. So obviously mom, dad knew something was wrong, so they had to investigate, and they actually started going to the neighbors of this family. They found out that the neighbors were really scared of them. When they got home, she said that she confessed to her husband that she used to be a witch. By this point, she hadn't told her daughter or her husband. She really tried to move on from that life. However, in that moment, she told her husband that she was gonna do witchcraft on that family, and obviously he was shocked. She explains that she had never felt the amount of anger that she felt in that moment, so she was gonna do one of the worst things that she could to that family. She started making, like, I guess kind of voodoo dolls out of straws and dead animals. She did a lot of things to these dolls, and she even went to their house and hung these dolls on their front door. Did not care if they saw her or not. So she still stayed outside the house, and she saw when the guy's dad comes out and he grabs the doll, look of disgust on his face, and just threw it on the street. However, he was the first person to touch the doll and the first person to get sick. That same night, an ambulance came to the house, took the dad because he had really severe stomach pains and wouldn't stop vomiting. Her son-in-law went in the ambulance with the dad, and obviously they left the mom behind to keep an eye out on the daughter. She took advantage of the fact that that front door was open, and she was sprinting to get into that house, but the mother-in-law saw her and immediately closed that door. She was so mad that she got that second doll, threw it at the front door, and screamed as loud as she could that she had done that to her husband, and if she didn't let her daughter and the baby come out, all three of them were gonna die within the next 3 days. She said that she can tell that the lady was scared on the other side of the door, but she still didn't let her daughter and the baby go. Since they weren't coming out, she also screamed at them that if they touched her daughter or that baby, that they would be passing away that same night. She explains that the house was silent, and at this point she had made friends with this elderly lady that lived next to them, and that is where she spent the night. In the middle of the night, she noticed that her son-in-law had gotten home and he looked really drunk, and because he was so drunk, he was on the phone with somebody, and they overheard him telling that person that his dad was really bad, he thought he was gonna die, and that they needed to go and see him that same night. He called out to his mom, and they left, leaving the house alone. Obviously, she took this opportunity knowing that her daughter was there alone, and she banged on that door. However, a random lady opened the door, and she looked really scared. The lady tells her mom that she can't let the girl out because it would be really bad for her, and she showed how they physically abused her. Like, I guess the family had been hitting her, taking chunks of the hair out on her, so this lady was really scared of what the family would do if she let the girl out. She asked her to please unlock the door, just let her out, and she said that they didn't even leave her the keys to unlock that gate in order to even let her daughter out. She then asked the lady if her daughter and the baby are okay, and the lady told her that her daughter was in the second floor in a room, but she was locked in without food or water. By that point, they decided to call the police, but before the police could get there, her son-in-law got there, and he went inside the house screaming and like angry. She heard screams coming from inside of the house, and then she saw when her son-in-law was coming out of the house with the baby and something in his hand. She then sees her daughter, and her daughter is crying and begging him to give her back that baby. That's when she saw when her son-in-law grabbed her daughter by the hair, giving her the baby, and then putting that little like voodoo doll on the daughter's neck. By this point, the police had gotten there. However, the police came right back out, and that was because the guy had told them if they didn't leave the house, he was gonna kill the mom and the baby. She explains that she had never felt this anger before, like this helplessness, and she started doing witchcraft then and there, and somehow she was able to start a fire in the kitchen of that house. Now, I'm not going to tell you everything that she did or what she said, because she did say it very detailed in this story, but she ends up cutting her palms, and she is spreading her blood like all over the fence and saying things over and over again. The second she was done, the flames got really high, and she saw when her son-in-law touched his stomach like he was in pain and just fell on the ground. Her daughter obviously took advantage of that moment, grabbed the baby, and ran out of that house. She explained how she didn't feel bad for him. On the contrary, she literally screamed at him, "You deserve this, and you're gonna feel nothing but pain for the next 3 days. When you're about to die, you're gonna see the worst face of La Santa. You're also gonna see the demons that are gonna come and drag you to hell, and I'm gonna be there to celebrate it." The firefighters did get there and took the guy out, and they took him to the hospital, where he was in severe pain for the next 3 3 days. After that third day, he did end up passing away. That same night, they went to the neighbor's house, the elderly lady, and they stayed there and started giving food to her daughter and giving milk to the baby. And honestly, she said she spent most of the night seeing how that house was on fire and how it literally did not exist after that. The guy's mom and dad also passed away. And that is her story, that because of the love and the need to protect her daughter, she had to revert back to doing witchcraft, brujeria.